Location, very remote. The logistic nightmare. You have security concerns. And lately you were struck by COVID. Sir, let me tell you the figures that we have already 11 Shahids who are working here in the last 2 years. Despite our best international practices, we have lost 11 precious lives. And we have 61 who were wounded. And during COVID, we lost 80 people who worked on the project. Despite losing so many people and having the issues like security and also the location, this project is still on track, sir. Sir, I'd like to just very briefly show you that how is this working. So you are more familiar than this anybody else on development projects. Wapada is the only parastatal in Pakistan which has unparalleled capacity to identify, design, make a feasibility report, construct and operate. And we today, sir, in Pakistan with about 9,387 megawatt in terms of its power, and in terms of energy, we are producing about 37 billion units. And we do this with only 3 rupees and 15 paisas. Sir, if you see a pie on the right, you have this. If Pakistan is producing 129 billion units, we do that about 37 billion. And this 37 billion which we produce at the cost of only 3 rupees, this is the core, this is stability for the entire power sector of Pakistan. And we do all this in line with the SDGs of UN 6, 7, 8, 9. They talk of climate, they talk of clean energy. Sir, our journey to resurgence started once we did these 4 projects. We did Kachchi Canal in 2017. We did Golan Gol in January 18. We did Tarbela Fort in March 18. And we did Neelam Jhelum in April 2018. So these projects were stuck for years, if not decades. Having done this successfully, इसको बंद करवा दीजिए. This is what gave us a very good revenue streams and the experience and confidence to do the more projects. I'll just take you to the history, not a very far history, recent history. This is what was done in terms of those projects. Mr. Prime Minister, we have gelled a team which is ever willing to make a contribution. Their expertise, their professionalism, their level of confidence probably can match the best of the team in the world. And that is what took them to really undertake these 10 projects which we are talking today. Sir, before I go to these projects, let me tell you, sir, this Indus which is passing in front of you, the place where it enters in current area of Pakistan at LOC, at Hamzi Gund, it has about 17 million acre-feet water. Once it comes down to Skardu, the water increases to about 30 million acre-feet by virtue of having tributaries like Shigar into it. And if you go about 100 kilometers upstream to Bunji, it goes up to 50 million acre-feet water. Every year from here, we have 50 million acre-feet water passing downwards. Once it reaches Tarbela, it becomes 60 million acre-feet water. We have Kandia and Dubair River joining in. And from Tarbela downwards, once you have Kabul and Swan coming into this, it is 90 million acre-feet water at the Kalabagh Dam. Of this 90 million acre-feet water, Mr. Prime Minister, we save only 6 million acres. This is a criminally low storage in the world. In Jhelum, you have 24 million acre-feet water every year. We store 7 at Mangla, and we store nothing at Chenab, which is about 26 million acre-feet water. So 90 plus 24 and 26 is about 145 million acre-feet water, and we store only 13 million acre-feet. By virtue of doing these projects, by about 28, 29, we will be adding 11.7 million acre-feet water. And sir, we'll be adding in power more than 11,000 megawatt, which will be in terms of 44 billion units, adding to current 37 billion units. So by end of these projects, we would have shot up more than 120% in power, and we were added about water storage of more than 95%. So other than these projects, we also have 3 more on the anvil, which is Nolong in Balochistan and Kyal Khwar right here in downwards of Patan, and we have Atabad in Hunza. So what we did was that our team made a strategy that we must build on the increased revenues, and we need to unshackle ourselves from the government of Pakistan, because they can't really have a debt on their financial landscape. And we went and explored the possibilities of reaching out to ESG funds, environment funds, and also to emerging markets, venture markets, and equity markets. And for that, we had one of the best financial institutions operating with us. So this is just to give an overview of this, that the 3 major projects what we are doing. This is Mohammed Dam, the diamer-bhasha dam part, diamer-bhasha power generation, diamer-bhasha land, Dasu. So in all, right bottom corner, this is 2.6 trillion rupees projects which are underway. And all this, Mr. Prime Minister, 2.6 trillion, the government of Pakistan will be chipping in only 648. But more importantly, it is WAPDA would be arranging $6.12, because it started in, of course, 2019, and the government was overstretched. So we ventured out to the market, and what did we do? We first put on house in order, and we took a step of going for the international rating by not one, by all 3 rating agencies, Fitch, Moody's, and S&P. And you'll be happy to hear that we became the first parastatal in Pakistan to secure the stable outlook by all 3. Then we went over to the market, and we were able to raise green Eurobond, which I'll explain a little later. So Bhasha, like I said, this is a place where the future destiny of food security and energy security of Pakistan is dependent on. We'll have a gross capacity of 8.1 million acre feet and 6.4 of a life. And other than that, this will provide 18 billion units in terms of power. And a single day of delay in diamer-bhasha is causing us loss of $5 million in direct and $25 million in terms of indirect effects. So once we started, so what were the major challenges we took? Of course, its gestation period is more, it takes 7 to 8 years. It is very capital intensive. So government is pretty fragile onto this one. Pakistan itself does not have a very high-end engineering capacities, and approvals takes about 26 to 28 months for a project. And the last is also a very negative impact on the development, because you have issues like PEPRA and audit and NAB. They become a very big challenge to do the projects. We've been able to do this despite all this. So just a brief, you are very familiar with the features that this is going to be the tallest RCC dam in the world. And we have 50 meters subsurface, and of the rock kind what you have, we have a gabbronite family available here. And this is the best rock to construct a dam. And the structure of the rock under the river is just like a ball. That's a gift of a God to Pakistan. We only need to put a dam there. So its capacity is 8.1 is gross and 6.4 is the live capacity. It will produce 4,500 megawatt, and we'll have 2 powerhouses, one right, one on the left. And the right one would be located in GB, and the left one would be located in the province of KP. Its time is 8.5 years. Sorry. And of course, this PC1 power generation is 933. The land is 174, and we commenced the work on 7th August of 2020. यहाँ पे आपका वो है pointer staff किधर है? So this is the structure. You are sitting just where we have the intake structures right here. So look at the advantages it has. Instantly we have 16,500 jobs created for the project, and we'll be training more than 1,000 engineers here and putting together of Momand and also at Dasu, the Pakistan would have a new crop of engineers on hydrology, about 1,600 of them who will be taking Pakistan's in future. We have cement, pozzolana for transport requirements. In development, we're spending 78 billion rupees and have 18 million units. It will increase the life of Tirbela for 35 years, and it will run into $2.5 billion saving every year. And it will be able to irrigate of land of 1.23 million acre. So this is a consultant what we have. We have Stantec. Earlier on they were called as Montgomery Hartza, and we Pori from Switzerland, Dolcer from Turkey, Mott MacDonald from UK. We have NESPAC and ACE and Mott MacDonald Pakistan as a partners with them. So we are very fortunate to have on the board of management Mr. Michael Rogers, who is also the president of International Commission of Lodge Dams, and we other people you can see their profiles. We have Sir Power Shannon and FW. They are the civil works with us. And there are a couple of technical challenges which we are facing to construct. First is the seismic hazard assessment. So this is a very high seismic zone. It was prone to seismic impact, and its location close to Asiatic plate. So we had to undertake a very extensive studies, and we had to work out, for example, what happened in 2005 in Pakistan. It was 7.5 Richters, which originated from Kashmir. It results into some kind of a ground acceleration. So this, at this point, it led to 0.11 G ground variations, whereas our project here is caters for 0.64. So it is 5 times more with the maximum expected earthquake ever in Pakistan. So we had a Dr. Nick Greger, and they are the best expert in seismic, and Dr. Norm, they are working with us. They've been extremely useful on the seismic studies. In flood estimations, or in case we work out the Gulf system in Indus, it's extremely dangerous and critical. You have the glaciated lake outburst flood. They could come at any times, and since it's a very erratic river, we had to be absolutely accurate onto this one, that if you work out on the 100 years turnaround, what's going to be the max PMF, possible maximum flood. So we had the services of Dr. Reynolds and Dr. Martin to have the flood estimation studies. And sedimentations, like I said, that this Indus carries about more than 10,000 million cubic meter sediments at any one time. So we had to work out that in case we don't do good technical work on the sediment studies, this project could end up its life in just about 55 years. But having done those with the techniques of using the low-level outlets, the techniques of managing the sediments, and using the diversion tunnels available and open channel available, so life of the project has been a couple of 100 years. So RCC design itself, we have the two issues here. You'll be surprised to know there are no international companies who had the experience of even laying the concrete for more than 10,000 cubic meter, 10 million cubic meters. This is involving more than 17 million cubic meters. And this tallest dam in the world, and the spillway design has been embedded inside the dam. So that is what it called for, an extraordinary focus on that, and we had a good expert on for these both, RCC placement and also for the design part of itself. Divergence system, sir, will take you from here. Imagine this river, this be going through a tunnel and open channel for at least 5 to 6 years. So we have to be extra careful in taking the river Indus, because Indus is mammoth, it is unforgiving. So the divergence system had to be done in a way that where the integrity and safety of those divergent tunnel and open tunnel had to be ensured. And even if the project, God forbid, is delayed for a couple of months, so they should be constructed on the design which is good enough to take entire Indus for a specific period of times. And we have underground powerhouses on both sides. We had to really struggle with a kind of a geology on both sides of the rivers. So that has been done a fantastic job by the experts. This will give you a general profile. that how does this make a logistic nightmare for this project. Starting from crush, which is about 27 million tons, the sand of 11 million tons, steel, the cement, and of course going down all the way, the vehicle flow of more than 150. You could have at the peak more than 600 to 700 vehicles passing one day. We have a very comprehensive logistic plan, Mr. Prime Minister. Starting from, we have our base place called Hatiya. So we have parking areas, we have our traffic control systems, we have logistic warehouses, and we have 6 sites right here where the logistic is being dumped. So without any interruptions or impediment into the activities, we are managing all this logistic support here at the site. So like I made a mention, the Supreme Court has made a bench headed by Chief Justice himself, and every 2 months we are required to go and present it to them, the latest development in the projects. And we have done that about 9 times in the last 2 years to the Supreme Court, and we're expected to do that by May next year again. So this is how we maintain the 4-tier transparency. The first is the project office along with the consultants. They carry out scrutiny of everything, each and everything, starting from a screw going up to the dam structures. And this, of course, this was decided by Mr. Shahid to construct this company on a project on a company mode. We have a diamer-bhasha company which is registered in SCCP. We have board of directors where we have, of course, the private members from the sectors. We also have the chief secretaries of KP and GB, and we have secretaries from various ministries like water, finance, and plannings. And then, of course, our continuous appearance to the Supreme Court, we give a progress report to them after every 8 weeks. So this is should interest you that how are we managing this. So we're looking at, inshallah willing, true to the word of Wabda where Abbasi Sahab was mentioning on the promises.